Okay. You cannot hear me. Hey guys, Infidel 1258 here. How you doing tonight? I've just spent the last 3 minutes talking to myself. I thought I was live. I clicked begin start. You cannot hear me. What the? What is going on? Hey guys, Infidel 1258 here. How you doing tonight? I've just spent the last 3 minutes talking to myself. I thought I was live. I clicked begin start. You cannot hear me right now. What the? What is going on? Hey guys, Infidel 1258 here. What is going on? I've just spent the last 3 minutes talking to myself. I thought I was live. I clicked begin start. You cannot hear me right now. What the? Technical difficulties, guys. Bear with me. Hey guys, Infidel 1258 here. What is going on? I've just spent the last 3 minutes. Technical difficulties, guys. Hello. Can you guys hear me? Hey, Jerry-O. Just slapped the monitor. Is it okay now? Is it okay now? I think it is. Muted. Hello. Can you guys hear me? Fuck, what's going on? What is going on here? Hey, Jerry-O. Oh, I got it. Oh, I got it. I was no, we're good now. Okay, I see what was wrong. Okay. YouTube. YouTube Studio. Content. Live. And view live control room. There we go. Okay, so we are good now. I had my Twitter open and that was the problem. Now I'm just gonna pop this out. Pop out chat. Okay, we're good. We got it. Hey Scott. Hey Jerry-O. Hey Kingbo. Hey Luke. Jake. Brow Baby. Sam Smith. I'm glad you're here for the first time, Sam. I did say that a moment ago, but I don't think you heard it because I have my audio problems. Kingbo, he's back. Luke, 2 days in a row, my dude. Thanks for coming. Scott seems good. If you ask again in 5 seconds, might have a different answer. Yeah, totally. That's how technical difficulties work. Okay, it's like it's working at the moment, but we'll see where we're at in 5. Okay, so yeah, Yuki, it was Twitter. I was trying to find the link for the live so I could reshare it on Discord, and then I guess I hit the Twitter audio, so it was giving the feed. Twitter causes nothing but problems. It's mostly just people yelling at each other. So yeah, I probably should just, if it wasn't also a marketing tool, I probably would just do away with it. Carlo, how you doing, my dude? Iriel. I wonder if that's how you pronounce it. Iriel? Ariel. Godziel. Hey, Dwayne. Hey, Luke. Hey, Hewitt. Tim. DNA. I should freshen up the Tim dropping the TNA, the classic black and white TNA. It's got me thinking. Time to drop some fresh emojis. Thank you for supporting the channel, by the way, Tim. And Kingbo. And Luke. Who else is here right now? Lots of you guys. Brow Baby. Nice. Thanks, guys. Okay, so I don't have anything planned for tonight, but if you guys want to do some battles, if you have some questions, I'd love to get into it. I definitely want to do some questions because I think that's going to be something that'll be helpful after we clip later on. I was thinking a lot about after I did the video yesterday with the members, and then did the clip on the 5 cards I really like and I think are great for a long-term investment. That's got my head really spinning, where I'm thinking about I want to do like a deep dive on that, and I'm going to need to do research, and I'm going to need to do like prepare for that one thoughtfully, and I want to give you guys a really great long video. I think I'm gonna go through all of my favorite cards, and maybe from like an investment perspective, but I can't drop that live. I would need to really think that through. Scott says he only started using Twitter for Splinterlands, and me also. I use it for crypto related stuff, and to some extent I just get drawn into other things that I'm interested in, like economics. For me, Splinterlands, the whole reason I'm interested in Splinterlands is because I'm cognizant of the fact that there is a financial crisis looming over us, and there has been for decades. But you know, I'm only 41, so I've only begun to realize that over the last, say, 5-10 years. And you know, I remember in 2008, I was married in 2008. In 2008, I remember the financial crisis happened, and I remember stocks collapsed dramatically. I remember my bank that I worked for at the time, the stocks were about $35 per share, maybe even 50, and they fell all the way down to 5. And I remember thinking, oh my goodness, my company might go bankrupt. And if they don't, it might be the best time in the world to buy stocks, because, you know, what's probably going to happen is they're going to bounce back. And of course, I began to understand what quantitative easing was, and how governments will print money to buy back their own stocks, like not their stocks, but to allow corporations to buy back their own stocks, and how that can drive up prices. It's almost a guarantee that sort of approach to finances is going to lead to economic massive appreciation on stocks and companies, until the whole thing falls apart. It's like literally a Ponzi scheme. So if you get that, if you begin to understand that, then you really start to understand why Splinterlands and other games, other things where you're receiving deflationary tokens, are so important. Splinterlands is one example, but you know, buying a little bit of gold and silver is the same idea. Bitcoin is the same idea, in my opinion, and some people might argue with me, but all of that comes, for me, the crypto interest comes out of the financial interest, and that's been years in the making, and that's why, for me, Twitter kind of scratches both of those itches. X Swilex, hey man. Butters is here. Yeah, Hewitt. What are the other 2 monsters other than Kron in the logo of Splinterlands? Looks like a red dragon and a blue sphinx in the other logos. Okay, so hang on. What are the other 2 monsters other than Kron in the logo on the Splinterlands, I guess, website? Looks like red dragon, and I'm gonna look at that. So it's probably over here. That's not it. That's not what you mean. I'm not sure where you're referring. Where is there a Kron? Maybe down here? Yeah, I don't really know. Maybe it's an older image that you're referring to. I'm not sure. Oops. Hewitt, if you have like a link that you want me to click on so I can review that, I'll happily look at it, because I'm interested in knowing now that you've piqued my interest. Godziel, hey Jerry-O, Tim, Butter, just chilling on Saturday and here to listen to the OG. Thanks, man. Really appreciate the kind encouragement. And I love that the community is shouting each other out. I love that we are a community. I love that you guys know each other. I love that, like, I recognize names now. I love that you guys are constantly certain people, and I know not everybody can, but some of you you're consciously making an effort to attend as many of these as you can, which is super cool. And it's also that's how communities get built, like, and they grow. And we're at like 6,100 people now on the channel, which is cool, which is really crazy. Like I remember when I was 60, so that's wild. But, you know, I think one day we're going to be even bigger. I think one day we're going to be, I think honestly, we could probably have like 100,000 people on the channel, and that's a long way off. But these things happen in fits and spurts, and you know, Bulldog's crushing it, and I'm super glad that we have a voice like his that is doing it. Luke's killing it lately. Stever's doing awesome. Who else? Llama's climbing. Lots of great names out there. And Jim, who will be on later, guys. Jim will be coming to hang out later on. Ashley. Who else? Hawks21. I'm going to try and sit down and talk with him. Aftersound. There's so many amazing. I'm worried I'm forgetting some people, and I don't want to disrespect the people. Old Man's out there crushing it. So many good names. There's so many good names that it's hard to remember them all, which is awesome because our game is growing, and that means that there's excitement. Even if maybe, you know, there's tons of room for growth. It's like, but still we're growing. And I love it. I'm excited about where that points things for the future. Sam Smith, question. What's the competition like to get Waka? How many players are fighting for the first 500 batch? Will the price of vouchers spike up in the next few days? Master Cardano. Okay, so I can't, some of that feels very speculative for me. I'm going to say, well, I would think all of the diamond and all of the champion players would like to have it. I don't believe that they can all afford it. I would like to think all of the champion players could theoretically afford it and would probably be willing to buy more than one. And maybe one way we could you know, prod at that question is we come over here into Peak Monsters and you look at the top holder window. If you're not familiar, this is the window where you can actually track a bunch of different data around who's got the most collection power, who's got the most DEC vouchers, and so on. This is an interesting way to check how many people could afford one or two or multiple copies, right? So the voucher rich list, you can see that there is somebody with 170,000 vouchers. Okay, so that's Splinterlands. So they're not gonna, I think that's the Splinterlands account, I believe, where they received the vouchers from the bulk, the bulk buys, I believe. But this guy here, he's got 20,000. He's got 19,000, 20, like all of these people, this guy alone could conceivably buy is that 40? I think it's 40. Yeah, he could buy 40 copies of it. And he could buy, you know, 39, and he could buy 39. So I don't really believe that's going to happen. I think some of these accounts are probably, what's the word? Not very attentive. Like they're investors, not players, I would think. That's a guess. But I mean, you know, these guys, they have so many vouchers, they probably have a ton of SPS. So they probably bought SPS in the pre-sale. And they probably have, you know, million or millions of SPS, and they've just been collecting these vouchers without even necessarily being aware of it. So those sorts of investors are not likely to come in now and buy $1,000 card or a $2,000 card. I doubt it. So, you know, probably you start to get into a situation where, like, look, where am I? I got to log, switch accounts, Infidel. Now, can I see where I am? I want to see where I am listed on this. So I'm ranked 258, and I've got about 750 vouchers. So that tells me that there's probably maybe there's 500 people in the game that could theoretically, at this moment in time, afford the vouchers. That doesn't mean that they won't go out and buy vouchers, but do you see where I'm trying to think it through, right? And you need You need 5,000 SPS. Look at, I've got 40,000 SPS and I'm barely in the top 1,000. So there's probably at least 10,000 people with enough SPS, I would guess. So SPS is not a barrier. Vouchers is a barrier. And I'm going to say that you probably only have 500 interested parties, but those 500 interested parties would probably like to buy more than one copy if they could. And I'm one of those people. So to answer your question, I think vouchers do probably spike right before, up to or right before it's happening. And vouchers are currently at 217. I mean, did they maybe go up to 250, 275? I think they've been up to 250 in the last couple of days. Do they maybe kind of push up to $3? I don't see them going to 5 or 10 or something crazy like that. But I could see them, you know, staying above $2 as a victory because they were recently $1.50. So I think they stay in the 250 range with maybe a slight push towards 3. I think that's a full answer to your question. And thank you for the question. Master Cardano. Send you a little something. Because I think Waka is amazing, and I think a lot of people are going to want it. But the question is really, it's not who's going to want it. The question is who can afford it. And I think that analysis based on the vouchers and the rich list is going to give you some idea that there's only probably 500 or at most 1,000 people who could at this moment afford it. So that's the way I think about that. I think easily you could see, you know, 10, 20, 50 people come in and buy 500 vouchers. That wouldn't even really move the needle too bad. You'd see a bit of price increase, but you wouldn't see a massive spike or anything. So I think it's going to sell it on day one. I think it's going to be almost instant, but I think that's because they're going to make it, you know, I think it'll be easy to buy multiple copies, and I think certain interested parties will do so. That's my thoughts on Waka and the vouchers. AFK's here. Hey man, thanks for coming. I don't understand my luck, guys. After 2 days, I'm up in bronze. Bronze 1, 100 spots from silver. Then I spend the next 3 days going all the forward back on bronze 1. I guess you're getting your butt kicked is what you're trying to say there? Yeah, me too. I was in diamond and I just got slapped back into gold. And I've got 2 million power or 2.5 million power or something. Necromancer, hey dude, thanks for coming. Let's see what else. Hey, Jim's here. Okay, Jim, throw me a. Is there some lag? Sam Smith says, great answer. Thank you. AFK. So this question is to all the managers out there. How many scholars do you got? How many of your scholars do you need to make $100 per week? Are any of them winning tournaments? So AFK, I have 4 scholars right now, but I'm trying to set up a 5th, and I can tell you that I don't keep any of the DEC. What I do is I keep all the cards, and so I pay if you play my account and you achieve a high level and you earn a lot of DEC through chests or through playing, you get to keep all of it. I don't even care. That's my thank you. I know most people share that. So that's me trying to be generous, but I keep all the cards, and that's my long-term play because I believe in the game. That's one of the ways I show people that I really am here for 4 years. Like in 4 years, those cards will be worth more. In the meantime, you're going to get a good amount of DEC. Today, I sent out rewards on 4 accounts. I sent 3,000 DEC on one, 2,500 on another, I think 2,000 on one, and I think 1,000 on the last one. So, you know, that's several, I don't know if it's 20, you know, maybe 10, $15 per account or something per season. So I'm paying that to them and I'm keeping the cards. I'm just going to message Jim over here. Hang on a second, guys. Jim's going to join the call.
Oh, there he is.
Hey, pal. How you doing?
Doing pretty well. Yourself?
Good. Thanks for joining me.
Good to see you.
Yeah. So you're having dinner with the fam?
Yeah, it was my dad's birthday.
Happy birthday, Mr. Morgan. I assume you sent him home. You reminded him that my live event was tonight, and he rushed home.
Just saying, hang out. But I gotta...
Yeah, and your dad was like, "Dwayne's on. I got to get home."
yeah, pretty much.
Something like that. Something like that. Was it lagging a second ago, Jim? You said it was lagging.
No, it's because Scott left about time. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Because I was late. I lagged IRL.
Oh, I see. You know, I only recently learned what IRL actually means, and that's kind of funny in real life.
Yuki says it's difficult to hear me.
Okay. Let's see.
Hello. Oh yeah, that seems really low. Hello.
Oh,
There we go.
hi there. Hello, Yuki.
Hey,
Yeah.
somebody let me know how it's going now, because I changed my filters, and so Jim, say some things, and I want to hear from the crowd how it sounds now.
Yeah, I had a day, was out with the family, birthday dinner for my dad, and I saw Scott Bland talking poop, so I had to let him know I was lagging IRL. Hopefully that test is good enough.
Yeah, it sounds good on my end. If there's any echo, it's probably because I changed the filters. So if you guys feel Jim is echoing, drop it in the comments, and I can quickly activate the filter. But the noise gate is so annoying. I was using a noise gate. I don't know if anybody's familiar with OBS, but noise gate is so annoying. The way it's like it'll cut off the tail of a sentence, or a hesitation in your speech. And I find that it's really helpful to be able to hear people elongating a word, and maybe even sometimes struggling with a word, because that conveys some level of uncertainty, or it carries meaning. So I thought I'm going to try without the noise gate, and last few videos I feel like it's good. So hopefully you guys can agree.
I was gonna say, was it one of your recent videos to where like the beginning it was cutting off a lot?
Yes. Yep.
So
Yeah.
probably why you got rid of it.
Exactly. If I come in with energy and I speak loudly, the noise gate's fine. But if I haven't had coffee and I'm a little bit, subdued, it's just gonna snip me, and I get so frustrated because I don't rehearse these my videos, guys. I mean, you probably can tell, but I'm trying to give you a genuine response in the moment, and I think that that's a valuable proposition. So I'm trying to do that, unless it requires a lot of math, and I know maybe I'll think it through in advance. But as a result, I don't have a script, and if I shoot something and then it gets clipped, the audio is imperfect, I'm super annoyed because I have to go through a whole thing again, and I'm gonna lose some degree of the spontaneity that I really want to capture. So Jim, what'd you guys have for dinner?
We had Giordano's deep dish pizza.
Nice.
Yeah, it tends to be my dad's favorite. So, yeah.
Kingbo says you sound like Seth Rogen. Is that a filter?
No, but my uncle, when I was in high school, would call me Burnout, and I don't even smoke.
That's funny that you said it that way, because Scott's like, nah, he just stoned.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, Icy, good to see you, buddy. I think Icy said a question earlier. Maybe not. I have 500 vouchers, and I'm the 450th top holder. Okay, so that's telling. I mean, and I don't think, Icy, I'd love to hear your thoughts, but I suspect, and Jim, let me know, I suspect just because there's, probably 30 people with 20,000 SB or vouchers, those people are probably not at all attentive to their voucher count, and they're not really day to day in the game. Otherwise, they would have sold their vouchers when they were $25. Don't you think?
Well, I guess it really depends on when they acquired them, right? Because, since the 18th or 17th, we've been getting 20,000 sent out every single day. So, I mean, we're a month into that now, so people could be collecting from that. But yeah, I guess also the what is it? The pre-sale they could have, and then also phase one.
I think some of those are too big. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think it's just too big to be justified by recent handouts. It seems to me that if you've got 20,000 vouchers, you've been accumulating them from early on. Now, and remember, I don't have numbers for this, but Agro had said there was like, I don't know, $20 million. I'm totally drawing a number off the top of my head, and I could be wrong, but it was a huge amount of money worth of vouchers that were never even moved from the original airdrop time when Dr. Blight was still being released. And so there's a certain number of players that are in this game or that have an asset, that have an account that are not really being attentive to their assets, I believe.
Could be a thing.
Ooh, I saw a great video today that I want to talk about, and I wish he was here, but Hawks21, do you ever watch him, Jim?
I've seen a few of his things now.
Mm-hmm. He's got, he did a video today. Guys, you should check him out. He does short, relatively short videos, and they're really informative and thoughtful. I like him. He's only got he's just getting started really, but he did a video today. He said bots are going to be part of Splinterlands for long term, so why not learn to take advantage of them and get cheaper cards? In this video, I show you how I purchased some cheap cards because I followed a bot account. And I won't watch the video here, but I'll tell you, you should watch it. And there's some tips in there that I think could really allow you to take advantage of bot accounts, which is awesome because frankly, they're taking advantage of us in certain ways. And so if we can kind of push back and extract value, then maybe the bots end up being less profitable and perhaps less dominant in this space. Did you happen to see that one, Jim?
I haven't, no.
So he was talking about a specific bot who is A04, and I've heard more than one person talk about him. It's that bot in particular is one where it'll undercut you by a penny when you list. So if you've ever been undercut by a penny, it might have been by this bot.
Was this the one you were telling, or I think it was you who brought it up, how some guy counteract that by putting it to, he would bid 1 penny higher than the instant buy, so that way the bot would instantly sell it to the highest bidder.
Yes, that's the guy. Well, Hawks21 covered the same topic, but you're right. Somebody previously came to me and told me that, and I covered that like a while ago. But Hawks is doing it again, and it's really important because, as you know, we can't cover things once in this. Like, there's too many new players, even players that are here every week. They're not going to watch every minute. They miss things. And they might not even know that there are bots like right here, A04, that's in the marketplace and that's designed to undercut the lowest BCX price. And so A04 created a bot, and it's got this Lens Master up for sale. And if I had a Lens Master, which I don't, but if I did and I sold it for $63, it would just go $62.99. And you're right, that's what somebody was doing. They were manually undercutting the bot and then letting the bot catch up, and then manually undercutting the bot. And it was like this long process. He said it took them all day. Wow. If anybody out there can program bots, it's something to think about. Like if you undercut this bot on an automatic basis, driving the price down from 63 where it is at the low bid, or sorry, the low buy, you could cut almost 50% off the price and buy it in the neighborhood of 40, 45 probably before it reaches the bid, and then save yourself 20, 25%. What is that? Like 35, 40%.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that too. Just lower it all the way down to where you're happy about buying it for that price. That's
what Hawks21 did, and that's what that person that you're referring to earlier did.
Yeah.
Jerry O says he always undercuts AO. He's always undercut by AO4. And I think I have been too. There's not much you can do about it unless you want to get in there and fight like I was just describing. And then you can, like Jim alluded to, you can contrive a situation where the bot gets liquidated by the bids, and then you'll have your opportunity to pick your price. Hey, Betelgeuse. Hey, Eric. Hey, Yuki. Icy says, I sell my cards for at least 1% above the lowest price. 1%, at least 1% above. And you just be, I guess you're just being patient that the first will sell and then you'll have your chance.
That's not bad. Just don't be in a rush.
Hey, Bernie, good to see you, pal. Shingo. It's hard to sell cards when there is AO4 selling the same. Yeah. I mean, all you can really do is, like Icy said, list it for your price and just walk away from it. And then sooner or later it'll happen. Yeah. That kind of bot must be banned. Damon's wants that kind of bot banned. You know, this is an interesting, worthwhile conversation. Here's the problem, Damon's. You know, people say that sort of bot needs to be banned. How do you do that? I mean, okay, we know AO4 is a bot. We know that that's what it's doing. But if you ban that account, the author still would you say that they can't move their assets? Would you ask Splinterlands to freeze the assets or something like that? I think you'd probably say no. And if the answer is no, well, then he's just going to move it to AO5 or, you know, some other name that's not so obvious. And then we'll discover that in a week or two or three. But then again, it's this non-stop process where it's so easy for a bot owner. And I bet he has, if he's created a bot to sell cards into the system, he probably is one of these people like Fire, I forget his name, but Fire King. He's another bot runner, and he has thousands of accounts. And so how do you catch them all? I don't know that that's feasible. And what would you have to give up for our like sense of safety in the game to stomp that out? And what I mean is the creators would have to probably impose a degree of authoritarianism that would probably scare you and other investors for your own assets. Like if they just grab the account and seize it and like freeze it so he can't move because they don't want that sort of thing happening. They don't want to allow that. If that happened, the problem would be solved, but it would create a whole host of other problems, such as doubt in the game. And who's going to want to have $100,000 worth of assets or $1 million worth of assets in a game like that? So I do think it's more complicated than that, Damon.
Aggro has also brought up that unless the bot is exploiting some form of bug or something along those lines, that they wouldn't be banning accounts.
Yeah. And I guess the question is this an exploit? Is this an unreasonable exploit? And I think it's probably pretty close in some sense, but I don't really know how you solve the problem.
It's also a thing of, sure, a bot's doing it, but some person could just sit there all day as well. And even how many other people also do this? Oh, let's go look at the lowest price. Let's go undercut it.
Yeah, I do that.
It just happens all the time regardless. It's just now people don't like it because a bot is fully automated doing it. Yeah,
I do that all the time. If I want to sell a card, I get into bids with people, and I'll definitely I go in once or twice a day, and you need to be. I want to be the Icy said he'll just be patient and he'll list above it. I always want to be, if I'm selling, I want to be the cheapest because I want to put those assets. I'm only selling for one reason. I want to put those assets to work in another manner. I don't want to wait a week, a month, a year. I want to sell it hopefully, that day. But I also want the full price. So I want to be that first guy so any shoppers come looking to me. There was somebody said bye. Is it somebody just left? I lost it in the
King Bo.
King
He said
Bo.
off to bed. Thanks, 12 and Seth.
Yes,
Have fun, guys.
Fire King. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing it in the comments too. By the way.
We got a question from Junie.
Yeah, Chuny is in the house. Nice. Hey, Chuny. What are your favorite dice cards? Ooh, dice is one I passed on, Chuny. We'll look at it right now, but yeah. Before I do that, I just want to comment on what Icy's saying because it's related to the conversation around the bots. He says, "What about a cooldown for a day or even an hour?" I mean, that would be. I don't see a problem exactly with that. I mean, I think it might get annoying for people who want to keep being that bottom. But I think the bot's going to be able to take advantage of that in a way that we aren't still. You know, they're going to be there every hour then, or every 15 minutes, or every 24 hours, or whatever it is. Whereas you or I are going to be imperfect about that. So I think the problem still persists. Maybe it's better though. That'd be something worth thinking about. But Junie, let's see. Dice was I should tell you guys first that when I started getting serious about this game, I was selling beta cards, and yeah, I was selling beta cards that had appreciated wildly for Untamed packs. And I was buying DEC for less than market value. I was going into Hive Engine and I was buying DEC at 1,000 equaled 65 cents. And so I was able to buy $2 worth of DEC for $1.30, and I would do that I'd sell a card, an old beta card, and I'd buy DEC at a discounted rate on the market, and I'd come into Splinterlands and I'd give it to Splinterlands, and they would accept it at 1,000 equals $1. So it was this exchange rate arbitrage play that I was utilizing to stretch my value and get more Untamed packs, moving out of beta and into Untamed. And I took Untamed super seriously because there was a ton of airdrops that you guys know full well, right? Like Kitty and Yodin and Llama. But then Dice came out and it only offered, I think, 5 or 6 airdrops. And it was more expensive than Untamed. Untamed was $2 and Dice was $2.50. So I felt that Dice was a ripoff. And I thought to myself, I just bought a ton of Untamed cards. My deck is much stronger. I can do without this Dice stuff. I do regret it, but only because the summoners are good. I really like Quid a lot. I really like Lorna and Mylor a lot.
Real quick, wasn't Dice 3,500 DEC?
It might have been. I know.
So its price scales.
Scales?
Scales. Yeah. You know, depending on price of DEC.
I see what you mean. So like it depended on the price of DEC to decide whether that was like a cheap price or not, is what you're saying.
Because when I came into the game August 15th or 16th, Dice was still a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I believe I was able to buy Dice when I first started.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was 3,500 DEC, I believe.
And and it was DEC was more expensive then, is what you're saying?
Yeah, because at that point the airdrops were out, and then people started buying DEC.
Yeah, that would have been an interesting if I had thought that through. But you know what I remember thinking at that time was, all the airdrops are gone, and look at all the value I just got from these $2 Untamed packs. I got all of these airdrops, and like I was getting arbitrage play on my DEC, and then I was getting discounted Untamed packs. And so I felt like that was a unique opportunity, whereas I felt Dice was a lesser. And it obviously was still a great investment opportunity that I missed. But I just didn't, comparing it to Untamed, that's why. To answer the question.
Aside from the summoners, what are your favorite cards from Dice?
Yeah.
There's not even a whole lot though.
No. Frost Lion is one that I mess with. I have a max level Frost Lion because it's got, especially at the high levels, at gold and above, you're going to get the shield, and it's very low in hit points and armor. But you know, for opportunity or for I like having it for opportunity plays. I like having it for Little League. I like having it for equalizer rule sets. And it's got the void armor, so even if you're getting blasted by like a ruler of the seas, that armor is going to take the first hit, and then you're going to get into the hit points, so it's going to still be 2 or even 3 hits depending again on who you're facing and sort of what situation you're using it in. 2 mana, anything that's 2 mana, I'm always taking very seriously, and this is a card that I like and I have. Marrow's Ghost is another card. This is a great one for opportunity plays because you can be, it's going to be a distraction. It's one of those ways you create a wedge on your enemy's approach. Like, you understand when the rule set includes opportunity, equal opportunity it's called, then you understand that they're going to target monsters that have low hit points. This one here, having the 1 hit point, is, you know, it's going to be the target, but also you then put it in the right position. You put it in maybe the 6th spot because why? Well, if you put it in the 3rd spot or the 4th or the 2nd and they have blast monsters, they're going to hit your Marrow's Ghost because it's 1 hit point, and they're going to damage the 2 adjacent. But if you put it in the 6th position, it's only going to do the Marrow's Ghost and then the 5th spot. I like that better than the 1st because the 1st I really want my beefy tank with a lot of hit points. And so this is something I use a lot in situations like that. Also in low mana matches because, again, Void Armor at the highest levels, it's got 7 armor and 1 hit point. So it's got, you might as well call it 8 hit points, right? And it's got 3 attack. This is one I have maxed out. And at Diamond, I don't like it at lower levels, but at Diamond, it's exceptional. Naga Brute. How about you, Jim? Yeah, I did 2. You got any goodies in here?
Battering Ram is amazing.
Good point.
For 2 mana.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that guy's pretty good. Oh, especially with Tarsa.
Mm-hmm.
Because he goes to the 2 damage and at level 1 with the opportunity. But as you level him up, he starts then getting that accuracy.
Mm-hmm.
That's really nice, especially if you want to combo it with the Serpentine Spy.
Mm-hmm.
Then you just start picking off their low HP targets.
You know what I see is the white team with Battering Ram. It's a melee play. The new like Chaos Legion white. And what I see is Celestial Harpy, Stitch Leech, Battering Ram, Chaos Knight, and sometimes Sunkai Harvester is nice too. But you can do Blinding Reflector. All of these, you can do a full team for like under 20 mana. And the Knight is going to give them all Inspire at level 9. And then Celestial Harp, they're dropping bombs. And there's also Feral Kitty. There's also the
Silver Shield Assassin.
Yes, which is amazing.
And I think it's Silver Shield Knight that also gives Inspire.
That's right. That one's
from Beta?
Beta, yeah. So I definitely feel strongly that the Battering Ram is amazing also.
Lensmaster's another really good one because of Sloan. 1 mana, 2 damage with 3 speed. It's outstanding. Blind
and Shatter. This is a card I never bought, and I was like, I didn't at all pay attention to it. And then I just started seeing it with the Shatter and the Blind. And Blind is something I really value. I very highly prize Blind. It's so effective. And so it is one if I ever saw it this is kind of tempting. Because this is something not everybody will know. But this is a measure for me as to whether or not a card is affordable. If the BC price per unit is comparable to the high bid value, that tells me that this is a relatively good price. As you can see, it's at 49 versus 42. So that's too big of a disparity. But if this was at, say, 43 per BCX, I would give it serious thought. Not saying I would buy it, but that's one way I decide whether or not the price is kind of a fair and appropriate number. Ooh, this one. Lunacari Mistress is one that I bought.
Good.
So good with the Oppress and Cripple, and it does 4 magic at the highest level, which is when you make that an Oppress, this thing deletes. And I like it in bronze and silver. I like it in gold and diamond. It's really good at every level.
Yeah, I just learned a lot about that card today during the Zen Sports tournament with Luke. That thing demolished. They were playing Delwyn, the Dragon plus Magic Summoner. That thing destroyed. He had like a cube. He had the Onyx something. I forget its name. Onyx Sentinel. And was just like one-shotting them, essentially.
You know what? I'm starting to say that as I'm looking at it, there's actually a lot of cards here I like, but it's mostly... So these two for sure. I love the Flamesmith because it has Shatter and it works so well with the repair. It works so well with Grum. It's not cheap, but I don't care. It's really, really good. And it has the armor, which gives it that much more durability when it's being attacked itself. Battering Ram is amazing with the Shatter at the highest levels. I love this card. Dragon Spirit is one I don't have maxed out, but is quite good. With the, a good amount of hit points, high speed, flying, so you end up being really evasive, assuming you aren't fighting a Salacia Vera Salacia.
Oh, Crypto Crazy's in here. He was live streaming with us today.
Oh, nice.
Well, he was in the tournament as well.
Were you hanging out in the live? Were you on with Luke today?
Yeah.
Dude, you've been a busy bee then, man.
Yeah,
you're in everything.
I was with him last week as well.
I want to come hang out. He keeps inviting, but I just can't. On Fridays, it's crazy for work, and it's my end of week. But maybe after I move on to my new job. So I feel like that was a pretty comprehensive response, Chuny. But still, I'm gonna say, I almost want to step back and say what I don't like quickly. I never messed with the Grenadier, but Stever has been kind of pointing me towards how powerful it can be. With the Oppress again, with the Blast, I always thought, it's too slow and I don't know if it's going to be effective enough. I do see it work really quite well. So this is one I slept on and I kind of feel like maybe I regret it. Same with the Lensmaster. Cards I don't really like. I'm not convinced. What's that?
I'm not a fan of Caladoom or Poseidon.
Poseidon's for me a no. Caladoom is okay. I have it at the level 3. I never play it though. So I also have Cthulhu, but I never play it either. I find that the ability combinations are weird. Like stun with 1 speed doesn't make much sense to me because usually you want your stun to land before the enemy goes. And then that's going to be the most lethal type of stun. So I guess I would say the big boys here, Cthulhu, Poseidon, Caladoom, I'm least excited about, but they are fine cards. And the ones I'm most excited about are the ones like probably these 4 right here and Lunacari.
Yeah. I also really like the Thorosa Nightshade, because when you can play Delwyn with Death, you have a lot of really good targets for magic damage. And I was kind of a little let down on One Eye Pete. Is that his name? The 1 mana for blue. Yep. 2 Gun Pete. Because I really wanted them to come out with a range summoner already for blue, and I think once they do, this card will get a lot more popular. Same thing that happened to the Lensmaster. And then I also think if they somehow give them close range, Poseidon will be good. But so right now, it's a letdown.
I agree. And it's a fine card situationally. It's quite powerful in the right situation. but I find it so situational. Like it would have to be like a 60 mana. It would have to be, archery, can shoot from the first position. It would have to be, I guess those would be the two. Those would be the two where I would feel very strongly about it.
Yeah.
But that's a pretty niche role for $62 per BCX.
Mhm.
Where
I also really like the Oaken Behemoth with Obsidian because it has magic along with melee.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm a fan of that.
Yeah, I was buying this one for like, I want to say $3-4 a BCX, and I got my max copy.
Wow.
It's so, any of the ones that have multiple attacks, I take very seriously, but and that means Kralis also. So we didn't talk about either of them really, but I find them both very powerful, especially Kralis because of the self heal and the immunity. Behemoth is a secondary tank, which is kind of nice because he's not usually, having that secondary huge meat shield is really nice. Because if your first guy goes down, you can feel confident your second is going to stand. But I would say Kralis is probably preferable of those two.
Remember when I first started, I used to watch so much Bulldog, and one of his viewers, they would do Byzantine Kitty, go white, and then go Kralis on top of it. So you would do double Kitty. And with the heal from the Kralis, along with the heal from Byzantine Kitty, it was a crazy combo.
Yeah, I'm sure. What's going on for Butters is, I'm seeing kudos going over to Butters. Do you see anything in the chat there, Jim?
He's 3-0 in his brawl.
Nice. Crushing it for time and attention.
Yeah. Well, that's because you guys don't verse us.
Is that right?
Yeah, because then you'd go 5-0 probably. I don't know. We're terrible.
AFK Arena says, I got the Smith bought for $7, but I play the long game, so think this card are going to be mad expensive in the future. If you got $4 to use, what card to upgrade to level 3? And so I guess he's saying, like, if you just had a few dollars, like which card is, I guess, most important to upgrade? Man, that's such a broad question.
Summoners leveled up?
Yeah.
Let's say you have summoners, right? I'd probably say Cursed Wendigo. Cursed Wendigo and Thaddeus, that could take you pretty far.
So, my Chaos Knight doesn't get her Inspire at this level, but I have, where is he? There he is. Silver Shield Knight. And then I want to slow down my enemy and bring out my Silver Shield Bard for this is one of the best cards at gold. It's got 2 hit points, but it comes out with 2 melee and 3 speed, but it has the swiftness and the cleanse. Cleanse is nice, but swiftness is the real thing, making your whole team be that much more deadly. And like if
Does the Enchanted Defender have shield?
Enchanted Defender, yeah, no, it doesn't.
Oh, it's got thorns though. Okay.
No, I think I might try something. I might try that. I guess if I alternatively, I could possibly, this might be better than the Enchanted Defender for the purpose of, no, I've got everybody's got Sneak. Yeah, we're going to try this. Hopefully my speed wins the day because I got the Creeping Ooze, I got the Silver Shield Bard, and that hopefully will let me punch before he can hit back.
Oh, that's right. Stuff has Sneak.
Zach says, good looking cut to what? 12. I just got, all I did was use some product today. I usually just throw on my hat, but I woke up today and wifey was looking at me. She gave me those special eyes, and I said, "Oh, I'm gonna look good for my girl today." So there's that one I was talking about, that dragon spear. Watch me miss it repeatedly because I don't have any snares. But mind you, these guys are all going to be punching the rear, and he's got the retaliate. Ooh, retaliate is so nasty. And watch this guy just, it's a 50-50 chance. Plus he only has one speed, so perhaps he ends up missing. But I mean, this could be a real problem for me. I think I'm going to be fine because my speed is so much greater than his. But that's going to be the question, if the retaliate and if the dodge end up being too problematic. Look at that retaliate right off the bat, and he dropped it. He hit it too. Okay,
Ooh, that was good.
Yeah,
that was good. He had a 50-50 chance of a 50-50 chance.
So we got this one now for sure. The speed was very helpful. If that dragon had been allowed to punch, that would have been a real problem. Or if he, we hit him 3 times, he could have conceivably, without much RNG, retaliated on all 3 times, and that would have been 15 damage that he dropped. I love the retaliate ability. It's so powerful. Tim says, I have an Axemaster at level 2. Do you recommend me getting it to level 3, still have 5 BCX to go, and playing high silver? Okay, let's look at that, because that's such a good card. Yeah, regular, reward, water, Axemaster. So he's at level 2, and he said, I'm at level 2. Do you recommend me getting level 3? I still have 5 BCX to go. Okay, so you've got, first of all, Tim, you never want to put, maybe you didn't do it, but you say you have 5 BCX to go. That means you have 5 inside the card. You don't want that. It's too late now, but for resale purposes, your card is it's like an imperfect copy, and you're going to have a hard time selling that 5 BCX Axemaster in the future, as opposed to 4 BCX copy that'll be on the marketplace. And so it's too late to fix it now, but you definitely don't want to do that in the future. And I would recommend moving up to the level 3, because you're going to get that extra archery, and level 3 epics are permissible, correct me if I'm wrong, in silver, right?
Yeah.
So that's a huge bonus. You're talking, that's not trivial. That's, 2 extra archery per round, because it's 1 extra per arrow, and he gets double strike. I say that is very significant. And you're talking right there's $25, and then you'd have to get, a couple more of them. You're probably $35, $40, $43 ish. Yeah, that's not cheap, but this is to me, this is almost a carry card. It's a very serious runner in that conversation for the blue team. Jim, what do you think?
That card is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I really love the Pellicor Arbalist in white, because you're able to get the 3 damage with or in silver with General Salone. 3 damage is huge if you're farming silver. That damage number is absurd.
For 1 BCX.
Yeah. And same thing with, so if they set it up to where they have shield or void or whatever it is, that's turning your 2 damage from 1, when you would then be doing 3 down to 2. You're now nerfing their shield essentially. So hitting that 3 damage threshold is huge, I think.
Yes, I agree. That's a great point. The shield in particular, because then it's not just going from down to 1, which is so almost trivial. It's still 2 per turn.
Yep. Because then you think about it, all right, well, if I'm hitting for 1 normally, getting +1 damage on the base card, if I'm hitting a shield, I am now doubling my damage from before.
Yeah, it's like at 2, you're losing 50% of your damage output. At 3, you're losing 33% of your damage output because of the breakpoints. Yeah, and the card is so strong. If you play this game for many years, you're never going to regret having a level. You're never going to say to yourself, man, I can't believe I wasted $40 on making my Axemaster level 3. This is a card that is going to crush for years. And you're going to be super glad you had it. And, I guess the one question, if you wanted to be devil's advocate, you could say, well, maybe it's going to go cheaper in the coming weeks. I don't really know why. Maybe it's going to go cheaper in the next year or something like that when there's a deep bear market, because I do think a bear market's going to come for crypto, and I think Splinterlands will not be entirely safe from that. But I would say to you, that's kind of my thinking on stuff like that, is that that's just a hope. You're hoping to get a better deal later. I don't play this game like that. I don't invest like that. I just dollar cost average into a bigger position and over a long time horizon. That's my approach. I think it's prudent. I don't try and call the bottom. I don't try and call the top. I just kind of enjoy the middle, if you know what I mean.
And going off of what they've already done in the past, I do think blue or death is going to be getting a plus range summoner for the legendary. Because look, red has Jotun, white has Salone, green has Prince Rin from beta, dragon has I don't remember the
Sky.
Yeah, so that leaves left blue and death.
Dude,
they're probably going to give it to blue before they give it to death. That's just what I think.
I feel like you're right, and we haven't talked about this before. You saving this little nugget, waiting to drop it on me here.
Oh yeah, I'm full of goodies, man. I'm full of them.
That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, so I really, which is why I really like Two Gun Pete, is because I really thought that they were going to come out with it, but now they can still do it for the airdrop.
Yeah. I'm looking at the cards in front. I'm looking at all blue cards now. I'm just asking myself, like, would that work? Could they do that?
Sniper.
They really could do it. I mean, Igor is so nasty though, and he would be even more nasty with that extra, because he's up to 3 for a 2 mana cost to get 4 archery would be, and stun, by the way.
Right. And if they have it 6 or 7 mana or 8 or 9, whatever it's going to be, I could see it.
Harpoonist. This is a card I have. I think I have like level 4 or 5 or something. 5 archery. It's on one of my other alt accounts.
Pretty good.
With the knockout too. Deletes, guys.
And then with the Axemaster, you're dealing go to 4 damage each one.
Dude, at the highest levels, this card is broken. Double strike.
And then he gets around force field.
Double strike, close range, cripple. It's dropping bombs, and the only thing that this thing has against it is that it obviously it doesn't have 10 or 20 hit points. Like, that's the weakness, and it still has a good amount of hit points.
Yeah, it still goes to 7.
Yeah. It's an amazing card. It's not just a good card, it's an amazing, exceptional card.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of think I agree with you. I mean, at least your point is sound, that archery absolutely could be a choice they make here. And I want to look at that. You said death doesn't have one either, right? They have the negative.
Yeah, death is nothing but negatives right now, so they haven't even gotten like a plus damage. But I would like to see plus magic damage for death.
I could see it, but I think in my heart, or I think to myself, if there was a plus magic on death or a plus archery on death, or for that matter blue, it's so overpowered. But it's not at all. It's just me thinking I win right now with them as they are, and that would help me win more. It doesn't mean it's overpowered. It would be certainly a nice improvement though. Yeah, I do kind of think that that makes sense. I could see that, especially with a lot of these old cool Magic cards falling by the wayside due to the division between modern and wild. I could see Magic slipping in here and not being too broken. And simultaneously, I could see archery slipping in on the blue team and not being too problematic either. Very interesting.
Also, what if you threw range for death? Like they have the Soulstorm, they have the Affliction Wizard, Skeleton guy. I forget all their names.
I'm pretty sure he's not called Skeleton Guy.
Skeleton guy. Then you also have the Twisted Jester, who's another amazing snipe unit. You have Lyra. You have the Dramir. I forget his name.
Yeah, I know the True Strike one, wherever he is.
Yeah. Oh, Grim Reaper. That's that one guy's name. Dark Ferryman as well.
Grim Reaper is really good.
Yeah.
Weirding Warrior is one that I haven't yet. I don't think I've maxed out my Weirding Warrior. I'm going to go ahead and grab one of these right now. It's an epic card for $1, a BCX. I continue to declare that these prices are not long-term sustainable. They will sell out and the player base will grow, and that necessarily means price appreciation. If people think I'm just blowing, I'm just trying to sell something, I would love to see, I would love to see an excellent articulation of why I'm wrong on this. Because if I'm wrong about my thesis around the deflationary assets and the price appreciation of these things, I actually want to see that. I want to be corrected for my own sake. But I'm convinced.
God says death is lacking damage and gold. It's probably because he doesn't play with Lord of Darkness.
Yeah. Yeah, Lord of Darkness is pretty nasty in gold. And is somehow even more deadly in Champion, even though he's absolutely a beast. At gold,
he gets retaliate.
Yeah. But I mean, Enrage, Stun, and Shield is such a nasty combo. I mean, he probably could have one less hit point at a minimum and still be a strong, like you have to have him. Maybe even two less hearts, or one less shield, one less heart would have been possible, and he still would be an exceptional card. Look at this, 113. Wow.
He's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I told you, but I saw a Lord of Darkness for like $490. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is such a good deal.
Mm.
And that was for gold, so level 3.
Nice.
Yeah.
Excellent. The prices. How about Bilka? There, people are trying to push it. Yesterday I bought. You saw me, I think, right, Jim?
A bunch, yeah.
Yeah. This is not quite a good enough deal for me right now, even though because I bought so many like yesterday. I want to get others. I don't want to spend on my DC. It's just like these cards are excellent, and one day they will be more expensive, and I don't want to miss the boat. And I'm okay with them going down a little bit between here and there also. What do you think? Let's look at this for a second. Let's look at the legendary cards specifically. We'll look at regular foil specifically. And we'll just look at the full list of all legendaries that exist in the game. And we'll ask, like what ones... Actually, I'm going to look at Chaos, Untamed Dice, and Reward. And I want to talk about what legendary monsters are must-have for the modern league. And so some of these won't be applicable because some of these are going to be old reward cards. But which ones are must-have? And I want to be cognizant of budget. So thinking it through, not just saying like obviously all of them would be great, but thinking it through and being like, you know, on a modest budget, which ones really are must have. Because some are going to be, and some are going to be, you can pass, I think.
I think Uriel and Grum. Probably Oceanus, I could see. Those three are just like big tanks that can take like anything.
Do you feel or Uriel is that powerful even at, say, silver?
But at silver, I think is where he does shine.
Is that right?
Like bare minimum. In bronze, I don't think he really shines. In silver, that heal that he just gets every single turn, I think is really what he needs.
Does he get the heal? He gets the heal in silver?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We talked about this yesterday where what does recharge need? It needs time.
Mm-hmm.
The heal gives him that, or you have someone who's just ridiculously tanky.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he also has a really good amount of HP along with the armor on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
Then you throw the heal on top of that for the sustain.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's buying him more time.
I really like Oceanus. I really like, I think you said Grum. I think they're both exceptional and they really are must-haves, especially for their price point. Even Grum at $13 to me is worth that. Now, it could go down a little more. I feel like this could fall to 10 and I wouldn't be too surprised. I feel like Oceanus is probably pretty close to the floor. If this fell down to 4, I'd be really surprised. Really, really surprised. And it used to be 60, so I feel like this for me is absolutely whatever level you're playing at. Even I would buy a few extra copies. That's how I feel about it. Grum is, I would probably get, you know, if I was in silver, I'd probably get 3 copies at that price. I wouldn't maybe even wait.
It's amazing in silver.
He's so good at every level, man. He's so good. And like we've said, like you just said with Uriel, even if he isn't landing kills, he will, despite his speed, he'll land some kills. But even if he's not, he's so resilient that he's going to allow your back line to do what they need to do, which is part of the battle in this game. So those are 2 for me also. I'm not sure I throw Uriel in there. I like it, but I find, at least at the higher levels, I find him underwhelming. I really don't see any reason to spend, like, I think you cap him at level 3 and just forget the extra. Who cares about a redemption? I mean, yeah, redemption can be nice, but I don't.
Worth doubling the price, probably not.
No, and the best play for redemption is what we've seen with death, is how, you know, it's in those low mana matches where they weaken you and then the redemption drops and kills you, which is awesome. But that's not going to happen in a mana match that's like playing 11 Uriel. You're going to be playing, this is like you play Uriel when there's 30, 40, 50, 60 mana, and that's not going to, the redemption's not going to move the needle. So, but
real quick before we continue, for me, I'm thinking about these cards strictly in terms of silver.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking it all through, just like I'm trying, because even if you're in silver, silver is the target. Let's think of it that way. Silver will be the target. But even if you're playing silver today, you probably ought to be thinking long run how you might grow your deck into gold or beyond. And if you aren't, you should start, because this game is going to allow you to do that with your time and attention. So start thinking it through and understanding that there are certain key levels for certain important cards that would be worth considering, if not pulling the trigger on. Yeah,
if we're talking diamond, I do not think Uriel is one of those characters, because at that point so many other creatures out there are hitting like a truck. And aside from the heal, he doesn't have any way to give that defense.
I really, really like Dr. Blight. I think Dr. Blight is honestly one of the most powerful cards in the game. And
he is crazy.
He helps me win so often. And when I lose, it's almost always because my opponent had Dr. Blight out there. The camouflage with the scavenge, by the time he gets discovered at the first position, he's going to have 10 or 12 hit points. It's like so often the case. Well, maybe, 8 or 9 hit points. So
when I first saw that he had that scavenger, I was like, meh. but then the more you play with the card or see the card, and it's like Scavenger gets him to like 12 HP, and he's just the last one alive. It's ridiculous.
And then the Affliction is so nice because heal is one of the things that can really counteract your poison. And so poison is one of his main damage deals, but then the Affliction works so perfectly with that. And the camouflage that you can't even discover him until it's way too late. He's already gigantic beast mode. I think he's honestly one of the most powerful cards in the game. And I've discovered it. I thought he'd be good, but I feel like he's amazing. And so I don't know that I would say I want to buy a $300 card, but I might say $100 one copy for even at silver level.
Yeah.
And then again,
I think he becomes amazing in silver at level 2 though, because now you're throwing the poison. And
then again, I might say, nah, he's too expensive.
Yep.
But I love Jinbilka because again, camouflage, weaken, those are two of the same abilities. And then he's going to match up with Obsidian, which is going to make him, for silver, you're going to do 3 magic damage and be undiscoverable. It's like the only way he dies is with Magic Reflect. And of course that's a problem, but for this cost, it's just a no-brainer. If you're using Obsidian, this is the card you must buy.
And then whatever colors you do play, say you're limiting yourself to 3, whether it's for budget or whatever, the Fiend. You have to pick up the Fiends.
Yeah, you do. You need to have the Fiend, at least one BCX of it. And if you're playing in Diamond, it's worth it to get the 11 to get the bonuses. But if you're playing in Silver, just one is fine. Carlo, you read my mind, my dude. He says Queen Mycelia for me. This is one that it's gotta be in the conversation at least. It's absolutely one of the most definitive support monsters in the game today, with Protect, Amplify, Triage, and Rush. That package, not to mention that it's going to be doing 2 magic damage with your Obsidian, is very reasonable for a support monster. Amplify is so huge because of the synergies with green, with Mylor, and with some of the magic reflect monsters that are out there, such as the Failed Summoner, which is a very meta tank for the green team. This
card. You also look at how many neutral monsters do you have that also have some form of reflect damage.
Or Thorns. Yeah. He's right. Queen Mycelia is definitely. It's gonna. All of this conversation would depend on which splinters you currently run, which summoners you currently have. But this card, if you're playing green, this card has to be in the conversation, even though it's at $25 or whatever. That card is too good, and it starts being good right away. By the way, just 1 BCX is great, but if you can get up to Amplify level 2 for silver, you're going to be very pleased. And if you're playing in gold, Triage is a huge bonus. So every round, I feel like this is well balanced, so that every round you really do. If you're playing at that next level, you're going to want to upgrade it. You're not going, unlike the Uriel where I was saying, nah, I'm just going to cap it there.
Yeah.
What else? I mean, here's the problem. I love most of these legendaries, but I think so far we've done a good job of covering what would be reasonable from a cost standpoint, and analyzing it from like cost reward. I would say one that's maybe worth splurging on. I might try to say, looking at this, like $500 for this to me seems, now that's a lot of money. But this card is so powerful at the higher levels. If you play this game at Diamond in particular, this card is amazing. I win so many games because of this card. And it's an excellent tank, but it's also an excellent distraction because of the taunt. So it's got Void, it's got Scavenge, it's got Flying, it's got Magic Reflect. All of that, the whole package works so well together as a distraction against your enemy. You can divide their attack, and focus fire on a card you don't even really care about, putting it in the 6th position. And the fact that it's got void, you can put silence on your team, and then you're gonna nerf. You're gonna make this void so much more effective, and then any sort of damage that does get through is gonna reflect back to your enemy. The scavenge helps keep it alive. 1 triage is enough usually because it's got 13 hit points. It's not cheap, but this is one of the best cards for death, one of the best tanks for death, in my opinion, across all Splinter. But is this a modern? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's good. So that would be modern. I mean, they're all good, but those are probably my tops. Oh my goodness, no, I gotta say this one. The Vigilator. The Vigilator is too good because it's not only double strike, it's quadruple strike because of the archer and the melee. And so it's got good speed, it's got great DPS, it's got a good amount of hit points. And if you put it in those opportunity, equal opportunity or super sneak rule sets, you're going to be able to attack 4 times per turn. And it's got thorns also, by the way, and the poison. This thing is a wrecking ball.
I love Diamond Dragon so much.
Me too.
Wait, he's almost $100? BCX? What?
Is this mine? Yeah, I bought this one and I listed it, I guess.
Holy wow.
I think I bought this card for 300 and I listed it for, I think I bought it for 280 and I listed it for 600, and it's not currently winning or whatever, but you know, if it doesn't sell, I'm happy. I have two copies of this thing. One of my main one is maxed out and I use it all the time. And then this one.
One up when it was around like $53, and I'm like, this is a great price. And now look at this monster. Dragon Jumper. Beautiful.
Kraken. I remember when this card was 90 cents per BCX.
Oh, Luke wants you to say, back in my day, cards were less than a penny.
Luke, you're such an a-hole. That's so funny. That's so funny. That makes me laugh. I gotta hang out with him more often. He always cracks me up.
Yeah.
The lions. The lions. He's doing the lion thing where they're donating lions to him.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah, he got that done on day 9.
That's so crazy. 1,000 lions. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Yeah, Chuni agrees. Mycelia with Amplify. Legionnaire, he says, also with the Hireling. Yeah, that's a good call. Legionnaire's got that giant killer. It's a really powerful card. I don't mess around with it very much, Chuni, but I definitely agree it's very, very strong. AFK says yes, time and attention. I really think long term, and I may be the turtle in the race, but I'm going to finish the first. Yeah, man, I love that. AFK Arena, I love that. It's not even about finishing first. It's like it's just that you understand that there's value at the end, and you're gonna keep going, even if you're running the marathon at 4 hours. You're gonna get there. And I really think anyone who's taking this game seriously now is going to have an opportunity for life-changing wealth. And that's not because it's magic. It's not because you're special. It's because you're paying attention at a moment when most people in the world aren't. Have we grown a lot? Yeah, we have grown a lot. We have not even close to grown where we could grow. And you just look at Axie if you want to have an understanding of what that could look like. Because Axie, their land and the attention, the public attention they've received, at least probably more so last year, but that they blew up way bigger than we've blown up. And I think this game has way more runway than something like that.
The thing that kept me out of Axie was if you're not into like the whole crypto thing and wallets and managing that stuff, it's difficult to get into. It's nearly impossible. You have to look everything up. Here, you're just like, Oh, here's PayPal. Cool.
Yeah. Totally.
You know? And it's not about finishing first, like you were saying. It's about your personal best.
Mm-hmm.
Get your PR, get your personal record.
Jim, do you ever golf?
No, I'm terrible.
But I feel that way about. I'm not very good at golf either, but I like it, and I went golfing this last week, and I'm still sore, but I play with my buddy, and he's really quite talented actually, but I'm just there doing my thing. I don't. In some moments of the day where I'm feeling down on myself, I'll be like, oh man, I can't believe I hit another crappy stroke, and he's crushing it, and there'll be that thought process that happens, but then I say to myself like, oh. I don't really care about that. Like I'm not better than him at this. That's okay. He's having fun. I'm here having fun. We're both trying to be our best. And that's what this game Splinterlands is like. It's like you don't really need to beat me. In fact, I was here 3 years before most of you, so there's a high likelihood that that's not going to happen. But you can have a huge and exciting story also. Ooh, Butters had a comment. He says, we should talk about this. He says, I'm hoping to make a quick play on some cards as we discover the new summoner abilities. I have a hard time spending more than $50 on a single monster for my gold deck. That makes sense. First of all, because the $50 budget, like I totally, if you don't have a perfect diamond deck where most of your cards are maxed out already and you feel really satisfied with everything you've got, then there's probably cheap cards that can move the needle for you. But once you start getting up to champion or diamond even, you're going to find that there's fewer and fewer cards that $50 would really kind of do something meaningful for you. And that's when you start selectively recruiting some of these beasts that are particularly expensive, but you say to yourself, well, the game is, I've appreciated X amount of money and maybe I've got vouchers or SPS. And so you start to reallocate into different things. And that's what I'm doing, where I'm like maybe buying up some cards like Phantom of the Abyss, or recently a Dragon Jumper. But Jim, are you thinking about that? The first part of his sentence where it's like, I'm hoping to make a quick play on some cards as we discover the new summoners, because that's going to happen. Hey, like there'll be a moment where you can move if you're attentive, I think.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. Like as soon as they drop the cards on the AMA, because they're going to show them. I think either on there or on the Discord. As soon as you see them, be ready, get into the store, start looking for all the cards that synergize well with it.
Yes.
It's going to happen. That is a great time to do it.
Yeah, I'm glad he said that, and also we caught it, because it's so important. Like you're right, they're going to shill it, and when they do, I don't mean like later in half an hour go look at the marketplace. I mean like right then and there, go look at the marketplace and think to yourself, or go look at your own deck and say, first, do I have any money that's liquid? Second, do I have like a decent deck on that one? And is there a card that if I put a couple dollars into it, that it might really work well? You'll probably have a couple hours where the market is grabbing, where people have slept in, they haven't watched the AMA as quickly as you did, that kind of thing. And that'll be maybe your window. So Butters, good for you, buddy. That's a great idea.
Thinking about his next deck to focus on. What is your favorite deck?
My favorite deck is increasingly blue water, but okay, so I feel very strongly about Kelia Frendel. I also really love Kitty, but that's almost like saying I like breathing oxygen. It's like so obvious. I really like I'm actually falling in love with what's his name, the Death Splinter guy with the double nerf.
What with which one, the new one or the old one?
New.
Thaddeus?
Yes, Thaddeus. Where is he?
Oh, you're on legendary.
Oh, that's why. Yeah.
Thaddeus Brute.
Thaddeus, because like I said earlier, that combo with the weaken, it's so nasty the way you can like double or triple weaken teams is actually really, really powerful. And then one of the weaknesses on death is their vulnerability to magic. Like I'm thinking Lord of Darkness, or for that matter, Gorladon. And then you start thinking about is it called the Stone Golem? The that has the void on it. So it's like this works really, yeah, bone, yeah. This works really well with the black kit. And so that's increasingly one of my new faves. But right now, Kelia got my heart. And Tarsa's great too, but Kelia is, in my opinion, she's the leader of the pack, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm with you with the Thaddeus Brood. He's really one of my new favorite summoners. Along with Sloan, the damage output is absurd.
Yeah, and my only criticism of Sloan is that the white team, at least my white deck, is really slow. And so that's one reason why yesterday I went out and bought like a max level, I forget what it's called, like Spirit. Their Fiend. Their Fiend gives swiftness, I believe. So I went out and bought it.
You know, there's also one thing I wanted to go over. So during the last season, right? I believe I told you about this. I was almost able to get into Diamond. I was farming gold without having max level cards for even silver.
Okay.
My one deck I had was Sloan. Yeah, Sloan, that was level 4, and not even all my cards were maxed out for silver. Everything else I had was pretty much level 2 or level 3. And I just want people to know that you don't have to max out your cards in order to farm in gold or even get to diamond, really. It's once you want to start farming the leaderboard, I think that's when you have to actually have maxed out cards. So if you're not looking to do that, you can very easily climb with just some lower level stuff around 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm handing out, what are they called? Scholarship accounts. And as you can see, they're like 280, 225, 225. The guys are crushing it every season, getting up to their highest level and capping it. And I'm paying them back all the DEC that they're earning. So you absolutely, this game is, the collection power is the biggest limiter on how high you can climb for most people. Some people, there's going to be a technical expertise that they lack. But collection power, this is like a diamond level, like high gold level collection power, but these guys could make it and do make it into higher thresholds, but are capped due to CP. Somebody said, I lost the comment, but it was, Jake says it's so hard to buy into meta after Wavesmith, which is fair, which is really, really fair. That's October, November, Wavesmith was selling for,
I think gold was $50 some, right?
That's right. Remember, I got 4 gold Wavesmiths, and I remember thinking, wow, this is really, really, what are they worth now?
Gold Wavesmiths.
Is that a reward card? What is that?
Yeah, it's reward.
$3.
What?
It was $50 before. I mean, what's going on here? Let's talk about this one, because to me,
I know why.
Go ahead.
All right, let's think about what causes a card to skyrocket in price. Right? The demand of it, right, versus the supply, but also what caused the demand to go up. We had a very specific summoner that was just given to us, at the start of the game. It was a Phantom card in blue. They gave us Alric for free. That then caused Wavesmith 1 BCX to be dealing 2 damage while also giving them the protection that they needed.
Yeah.
Along with Oceanus, who has Void. So he's a super killer for magic units. He also then goes to 3 attack as well with 5 speed. Blue with that free Alric is what made those cards ridiculously priced.
Yeah, I agree actually, but she's still very powerful. This is the thing I don't get about it, because it's like maybe the supply, like look at the supply. It was 143. That's a lot of supply for a card, for a gold foil card. Look at this Wave Runner. There's 37 copies of that. Demon Shark 58. So even Pellicor Bandit. Okay, Bandit has 560 copies on the market. So that's why it's under $1 or whatever.
It's common though.
Pardon?
Versus the rare.
I'm gonna buy one of these two. I'm making a serious effort to get a gold foil deck.
Yeah.
And
I would love to for sure get a silver deck of all golds.
I mean, I think Wavesmith is one of the, it's an exceptional card. And yes, it's, I mean, there are some better cards. It has some criticisms, like it's 5 mana, so you can't play it in Little League. It feels like a Little League card in some sense, but it's doing 3 damage at the highest level. Then you've got 4 hearts, which is not a ton, but the Dispel is actually very helpful these days when you look at things like Enrage. It's so annoying to be going up against like a Lord of Darkness, but then this guy comes along and just like slaps him when he gets all high and mighty on his Enrage. Then Protect is very helpful. I like it. I like it a lot. But yeah, that stung. This was one of those cards where people were buying it, not the gold foil so much, but the regular foil. People were buying it for, I want to say like $10 or something.
I thought it was around 5.
Maybe it was. I can't really recall, to be honest. But I'm going to buy some more of them.
Well, my favorite part of this, of these lives is when 12 goes, yep, I'm buying this.
Just like move the market. Did you see the gold price on Wave? Look at this. It's up 300% because of my purchases. That's funny.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I mean, for me, with my budget, and this is largely like land DC that was, value I extracted from my land. If I'm going to make big plays, if I'm going to buy 100 copies of Oceanus, I can't just come in 6 months when everyone's talking about Oceanus. I have to do these things at a time when no one's talking about Oceanus. Or for instance, when no one's talking about Wavesmith. It's the only time I can come in here. I just bought like 70 copies. I bought 25 copies of the gold foil. There's, only 143. If I did that at a time when even 2 or 3 other people were interested, I would be buying them at like over $4 per BCX. Right here, $6. They're into 10 and so on. Like these are not even really for sale. Like they're so expensive. Yeah. So when you've got a view to try and accumulate as much as I do, it's like you just have to do it that way. Actually, I'm going to test something. My cards, I was using it yesterday. So acid. Now, how do I do this? There's a way to group combine. Let's see, grid. Okay, so there's a way to easily combine these guys now that I've only begun to bulk combine. Automatically combine cards in your collection to the specified levels by rarity. All the following conditions apply to the cards to be combined. They can only be Chaos Legion, only level 1 regular foils. Okay, so that's not very helpful because I don't want just Chaos Legion right now. Let's see if I have any of that gold review. Okay, so I do have cards that are ready to rock that way. So these are all the cards I own from Chaos Legion that could be brought up to to gold level. And if I just hit bulk combine, it's going to do it for me. There's 11 commons, 13 rares, 4 epics, and 30 legendaries. Wow. I don't know if I want to do the legendaries because there's probably extra copies of things that I was just holding for investment. Like Fiends.
Your Scorch Fiend. Effort Rising, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, see, this is too I don't want to go through clicking this way. That's not what I want to do right now. But that's an interesting ability, especially when I do get around to opening the rest of my 4,000 Chaos Legion packs. Let's go ahead.
One thing I was gonna say, back when we were talking about the other cards with them being low, there's a thing that goes around in the stock market and kind of everywhere now. You want to buy low, sell high, right?
Mm-hmm.
Except people are afraid to be buying cards while they're low right now.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they know that they've seen these cards 10 times the price or even double the price, whatever it is. So when it comes to, like you were saying, you don't want to be buying Oceanus when everyone is talking about Oceanus.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be buying it when it's low. It's low right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then you sell when stuff's high.
And it might go down to, it's at $6 or something. Oceanus could go down to 3. But in 4 years, I'm certain Oceanus will be 60 or even 100. And so do I care if I bought an Oceanus for $3 or for $6 if I'm going to sell it for 60? No, I don't. I really don't. And that's the degree of confidence I have with cards when I'm buying them. And if you don't share that confidence, please, please, please don't follow me into this process thinking, well, Dwayne said, but that's how confident I am. Like I've spent $4,000 in the last probably 48 hours on cards because I believe that these values are really affordable, and I've been seeing them tick up, and I just understand that it can happen so quickly. So I want to be prepared for when that happens, because I can't. Maybe you guys have, $100 or $1,000 and you feel you can pile on at the last moment. Somebody like me with all my luggage, I can't pile on at the last moment. I got to get my train ticket ready and I got to be loaded up when it's go time. Did you know something, Jim? Here, this is something cool I learned. So I have more than enough to make a max copy brute here, and I've just selected them all by pressing the button. Now, it's just gonna tell me, it's gonna cap me. It's gonna say, so I've selected 272 cards, but it says this will combine 239 into one max level, which is what I want. Like, it's not gonna overcommit me here. That's something they did in the past couple months, because that didn't used to be that way. This is a card I kind of was mocking before, but I've seen it be quite powerful.
I noticed I'll either use that guy or Phineas Rage behind Grum whenever I'm playing red.
Me too.
Depending on what mana cap allows me to do.
Yeah, I'm with you. So demoralize, weaken. I'm deciding right now whether I want to update this. This is something you guys need to do when you're upgrading your cards. You always need to be thoughtful about whether or not it makes sense. Right now I've got a level 40 BCX, which is a level 5. I could conceivably play a max copy. Is it worth it financially to pay the extra DEC or to utilize the cards to max it out? next level is going to be relatively the same. It's only going to give me one more heart, but 2 levels up gives me extra archery damage, which is certainly good. And then all the way gives me the demoralize, which is super beefy. If I have enough, I'm gonna. Let's find out. Yep. Make it so. 14 cents for this card. This is a $16 max level archery tank. Like, to me, that's really, really ludicrous that a max level rare is going to be $16. 10 hit points, 3 archery. Sure, it's slow, but it's got the weaken and it's got demoralize. This is an amazing card to throw in the back line. This is going to give you sneak attack protection. It's going to give you demoralize, which is going to neutralize a lot of the... Lately, there's a lot of melee meta from the blue team, from the white team. Melee is pretty powerful these days, so having demoralize to throw in the back line and give you some archery support is really, really nice. And it has close range, so if it makes it to the first, it's going to still fire. I love it.
Yeah, and aside from armor right now, there's actually nothing that mitigates, in terms of summoner, there's nothing that mitigates Tarsa with the minus damage.
There's nothing that mitigates Tarsa with the minus. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. So that one does because of the demoralize, you mean, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm also saying, so like Quix is the exact counter to General Sloan. Thaddeus Brute is the exact counter to Obsidian. And then Kelia gives armor, but that really only stops one attack. That's not a, I'm always mitigating your damage by 1.
I see your point. Yeah. So it's really great to there are cards out there, and I think that one we just looked at is one of those where people aren't really thinking about how useful it could be to have that. Tenyi Striker is so good.
I know. He's amazing.
Look at that, 5 melee damage, backfire, dodge. Like this is almost like the polar opposite to, say, Sandworm, where Sandworm is going to be super slow. Actually, Sandworm's quite fast at the highest levels, but it doesn't have dodge, and it's kind of actually a fair bit like Sandworm.
Yeah. Which is weird that Sandworm starts like as a 5/1, and then he's just like, oh, actually now I'm fast.
Yeah, that's true, hey? That's funny. Forgotten one. I just bought this guy the other day. I saw a comment earlier. I saw a comment from Scott earlier. He said something like buys the whole page of cards and then says, we'll just get a few.
Yeah, buys the whole page and calls it a few.
This is a card that you guys should get. 16 cents. If you play fire, it's 2 archery out the gate is very reasonable. But then within silver, you got the 3. And then at gold, you're getting the knockout, which works so well with fire because there's actually several stunners on the fire team. And 4 becomes 8 at the highest level. So I love this card.
I would love for the legendary Death Summoner to be -1 melee, -1 range, and -1 magic.
-1 melee, -1 magic, and what else?
And -1 ranged.
Just
so
like
the exact opposite of Archmage. What's his name? I forget.
Yeah. I know who you mean.
Yeah.
That
but
card
they won't do that.
That card is so powerful. I rented it at the end of last season. It's so powerful.
I mean, yeah, just increase all of your stuff.
And you can be so... I don't really like doing a team that's all magic necessarily. Or for that matter, it's very rare that you're going to do an all archery or an all melee. But I like being able to do, let's say, 2 archery and probably 4 melee. That's something I do quite a bit. And so it really is cool to be able to do a summoner who helps them both.
Yeah, get some diversity in your attack setup.
So I'm gonna be hanging out for another 8 minutes or so. I'm gonna do a Nightbot giveaway here, guys. I've only got Yuki and Hewitt in there. I'm gonna go ahead and roll it. You guys have been too quiet.
Whoa. I'm talking. I'm talking.
There he is. Jim's like, get me in there. No, okay, guys. Yeah, just go ahead and drop a comment. I'll give you a minute. And drop a like on the video, please and thank you. Appreciate you guys hanging out, by the way.
I always forget to put a like on the video until someone reminds me, and I'm like, oh yeah, I got to do that.
I forget all the time too, and I watch YouTube all the time. It's just you get into it and you start thinking, hey, Gonz is here.
Okay, there's too many people typing now. Dwayne, we got to get rid of some.
just boot.
Yeah. Let's start removing users from the giveaway.
The ban hammer. We'll remove them one at a time after we give them a.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm mod. All right, give me a minute. / ban all.
I can see them still streaming in, so I'm gonna give them a second. Yeah, man, I'm excited about where this game's at right now. Ooh, I don't have a Tusk yet, do I? This is a card that's interesting to me. Let's see, do I have a gold foil version? Where is he? Where is there he is. I don't even really. Wow. What's going on over here? $25.
That guy.
Inspire is nice, right? And then the Void with the huge hit point pool is very, potentially very resilient in the right context.
And it goes up to 14 HP with Tarsa.
Mm-hmm. These are $170. That's why I haven't done it. That's just like it for.
I think he's $170 good.
I mean, I just don't know that I would play him all that much. It's like
I'd rather just play Grum.
Yeah, I'd rather have Grum, or I'd rather do the Forgotten one, and so I'm gonna pass. I'm good on that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go see what Nightbot has to say. We got 30 users. Here we go. Chuny!
Oh!
There it is. Just been listening to you guys talk about the cards. It's really fun. Thanks, Zach. I appreciate that. Zach says it's really fun listening to us talk about the cards. Thanks, man.
Well, I really like talking about cards, whether it's for this game, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Magic, Flesh and Blood. I'll talk about all of them.
Mm-hmm. Should we tell them about our plans or is it not set, or what? Maybe they'd like to know.
For Monday?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. Monday, Dwayne will be joining me on my Hobbies and Happiness podcast that we do. It's pretty much all about board games, whether it's our tabletop games, whether it's board games, card games, minis, role-playing games. We'll be talking about a lot of things, and we'll also be talking about Splinterlands. So we'll be recording that on Monday, and then it will come out on Wednesday is when we'll have that posted. So I am excited.
I rolled
Are you
one.
excited?
I am. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I can't wait to have a chat about. I don't even really know what, but I like tabletop also, and me and my buddies, we recently just played the Fallout board game, which is super fun. Super fun. I love Fallout, and I like Lord of the Rings, and I like a lot of board games. So whatever we get into, I'll be pumped for it. I'm excited for it.
Also have to play the living card game, Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm. So good.
Yeah. Where will it come out? We're actually on all of the podcast things. So Spotify, Apple, I think it's Apple Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Podbean, I think that's what it's called. Man, no.
What's required to
get this info for people, huh?
What's required to get listed on those things? Is there any sort of steps or whatever?
Not really.
Hmm.
Kind of just have to put it out there, make the account, and then they just have to verify you.
Hmm.
So let's do a session of D&D. We should definitely have people. I was talking to Luke about this actually. How cool would it be, right? if we had a D&D thing for Splinterlands and like someone who was in like working for Splinterlands, whoever knew like so much stuff about the lore could run us through a world based inside Splinterlands.
Ooh.
Playing D&D.
That's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
I think they would like that idea if you could get their ear, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna get there though. We're gonna get there. It's time.
You gotta chill on those ideas though. You can't just drop these little kernels and then somebody else is gonna grab that and run with that ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys. So come hang out. Come hang out on the. Is it Monday? When did we say we're gonna do that?
So it'll be Monday that we record, but then Wednesday the video will get released.
Okay, so Monday the 21st we're gonna record, right?
Yep.
Okay, good. I'm good. I'm booked for it. I'm good. Wife cleared me. She doesn't need me for that evening, and I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Yeah. Let me just go grab the thing. So, guys, this is the YouTube channel, Hobbies and Happiness. There you can go through here on the About section. We have a Twitter, Instagram we post on as well, and then you can also find us on pretty much every single place you can get a podcast. So
yeah,
and then hopefully in the future we can also have you do a gameplay video with us.
Yeah, totally. I'd be down for that. If you guys, Chuny or Tim, if you guys open the pack, send me a DM later. I'd like to know what sort of cards you get in them. And but if you don't, that's fine. Just curious. And maybe one more question. At the risk of threatening my channel by saying something that isn't approved by YouTube, Gons was asking me about Canada and how things are going, because we're on the world stage right now because of all the trucker convoy stuff, and it's going pretty wild, dude. There's like arrests and there's like what looks to me to be the prime minister of my country said the media can't get into the Ontario or into Ottawa, which is where our capital is. They can't go record this stuff. The only people who are recording it are people that are there with their cell phones, and that's happening a lot. And so if you're interested, you can go find it on YouTube. You search things like trucker convoy or Ottawa, Canada, or something like that. There's tons of great video, and you can see like crazy abuse towards in some cases veterans, and in some cases like I saw an old lady get trampled by a police officer on a horse. It's crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy. And by the way, this is the absolute nuts thing about this whole situation. The government, so the prime minister is not allowed to do this. He's allowed to call for the act to be enabled. It's like the War Measures Act, which means like, essentially they can do whatever they need to protect the sovereignty and security of Canada. And they renamed it something different for like, just so it doesn't sound like it's war related, which is really just spin, political spin. But anyways, Trudeau put forward this declaration that we were gonna open up the War Measures Act, but it has to get voted on, and it's supposed to go before our version of Congress, and it's supposed to sit in the House and be debated, and there's supposed to be two sides of it. And the Liberals, who the Trudeau works for, is a minority government, which means he doesn't have enough seats by himself to get this passed. He came out and he said, we're doing this, but that's just him, trying to sound tough. Like what's supposed to happen is he's supposed to come out and say, I would like to do this. Now let's debate it. And all the different MPs, we call them, members of parliament, they debate and they vote, and then maybe yes and maybe no. And all of the MPs, or most of the MPs, are saying that this is crazy. Even some of his own people are saying things like, this is crazy. We can't just declare martial law because there's some truckers in the city. Like we have police, like make the police get rid of them. We don't need the military, or for that matter, we don't need to seize bank accounts, they're literally freezing bank accounts, which, by the way, is like one of the best reasons why you should own cryptocurrency, because who needs to be in like the the traditional banking system where they can literally seize your money for saying the wrong things. So that's like a 3-minute version of what's going on. It's pretty wild. I think it's super important in terms of my country, but also probably America, because I think some of this is going to happen in America also with the truckers next week. They're planning on doing something similar. So if that's interesting to you, stick around just check it out on YouTube or on Twitter, and there's tons of good content out there. But now that I pissed off YouTube, I should probably call it. Guys, I really appreciate you hanging out tonight. 2 hours. Jim, I really appreciate you coming on. And I hope you don't get arrested for knowing me and for my dangerous thinking that I'm sharing on YouTube here. Okay, pal. Anything you want to tell the people with the channel one more time or something like that?
Sure. Hobbies and Happiness is my day job, I guess you could say. I don't know. It is a future project of eventually opening up a gaming store, all tabletop board game related, and we run a podcast and we make online content as well. But aside from that, I stream over on Twitch at Jim Morgan HNH.
Thank you, as always, for coming out tonight, and appreciate it, my dude. And appreciate all of you guys, too. Everybody out there spending 2 hours with me. It's crazy. You're 40 people live right now. Appreciate you guys. Chat was wild. Thank you. Have an amazing night, guys. God bless.
Sure.